It's go time, baby. Let's go. Let's get the phone ringing. And I'm excited because this week I've been hearing people closing jobs. They've been closing, somebody just told me they closed an $8,000 job today. I know another guy went and got a bid for a six-figure job. He also got a job of cleaning a 9-story hotel windows. There's people out there. DJ's going to be washing out next Tuesday. Even in little old Cincinnati, the weather is finally starting to break, and it is awesome to see people. I've got people wanting to get their first employee. They just hired their first employees, and it is go time. It's amazing. It's awesome, and this year is going to be great. And I believe that it's going to be great, and you should believe that it's going to be great too. But it's not going to be great if you just sit on your hands and you just hope that somehow this phone is going to ring. Because I will tell you, in 2026, your phone is not going to ring just because you're sitting there. And so it is awesome, whether we're talking about Christmas lights, pressure washing. Like I said, I just had a guy close an $8,000 Christmas light job today. So what are you doing in this season to get your business growing? Are you just hoping that someday that it's just going to start, or are you taking action as we speak right now, even in the slow season? Because this is the time that you need to be working on your business, getting the things that you need to be done. And that's what I want to talk about tonight. And that's what I will be talking about tonight. And so, again, I'm excited for everyone. My book of the week, I'm big on this book. I've been studying this book. I've been studying this book a lot. And it is so true. I'm actually doing a book study with this book. It's probably one of the best books out there that can help you grow your business no matter what business it is in. And this book is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It was written in 1937, and it is a great book. Again, I've actually just read the whole book all the way through because I'm actually reading, not just listening to it. I'm doing 75 hard. I don't even know what day I'm on 75 hard. I started on January the 7th, I believe it was, 6 or 7, whatever that Monday is. And so you have to read 10 pages a day. And so I've read through the book. I'm actually starting to read it again because I've started a new book study with it, which started on last Thursday. So day 2 is this week is day 2. And so it is an amazing book. It is something that I would highly recommend you to learn it and be positive and think positive and what is your desires? And that's why I love that book, and I believe it can help you grow your business. And so I am excited for this year. I think that it is going to be amazing. Again, I love when people are calling me and saying, how much should I charge for this, Jason? And how much should I charge for that? And I love it to be able to help people grow their business to a place that they would have never imagined. In fact, the guy that got a 6-figure bid in is a guy that, 5-6 years ago had just started his business, didn't know nothing. He was actually he was trying to start a painting business, and he started my mentorship. He was one of my first ones in mentorship. He gave me his last $500-600, and from that, he hasn't looked back. He makes $200,000, $300,000, $400,000. He makes anywhere from about $250,000 to $300,000 a year working part-time. He literally is a full-time firefighter, and he does pressure washing and Christmas lights. And so that's what makes this exciting. And I love helping people grow their business. I love it when you let me know that, hey, Jason, I've got this. Or, hey, Jason, I got that. And I am excited for you because it is exciting to see when you win. And that's what my goal is. My goal is to how can I help you grow this business in 2026? And so tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about marketing because I love marketing. And, you can be the best Christmas light installer out there and be broke because you don't know how to do marketing. You can be the best pressure washer out there and be broke because you can't get jobs. You tell me that you have excuses, right? And excuses are, well, Jason, you just don't understand. In my area, you can't get X, right? And it's all, at the end of the day, it is a mindset. The things between your ears is what makes you or breaks you in this year. So that's what I have. So before we get going here, I see we got some people on here. We got Carrie. Let's go. Let's go. Carrie was on our call the other night. And if you aren't on King of Pressure Wash membership, I have a call every Monday night that talks about marketing. The month of January was all about Google Business Profile. The month of February is going to be all about Facebook, because those two things that can help you get your business to six figures. I can show you people that are doing six figures, multiple six figures off of just Facebook, like spend zero money. I'm not even talking about Facebook ads, just doing Facebook. And so it's awesome to see how people are growing their business. It's amazing to see what's going on and how that does. It's already been go time here for wash season. Yeah, the snow finally melted yesterday, most of it. There's still a little bit on the ground. We had a lot of snow melt yesterday. We got up into the 50 degrees. I went and helped one of my guys do a permanent light job. And so I did a permanent light job up in Ohio. And so that is where we are with that. So it is exciting to see the springtime is coming, baby. Springtime is here. I went in on the mentorship pressure washing group. Awesome. Christmas or kingofpressurewash.com/mentorship. kingofpressurewash.com/mentorship. There you'll find the link. And it is you get Marco Polo with me. There's a lot of amazing guys, 6-7 figures, doing pressure washing, Christmas lights, landscaping, a little bit of everything. So that is definitely in. Gutters are popular right now, especially if you are in an area where a lot of snow melt, or, I know some people, or even where you are, because you're in the Seattle and it rains all the time up there. Marketing is my downfall, but I'm closing shop for other reasons. Well, that stinks. Hopper, that everyone is staying warm. Hoper. Is that a Canadian word? Hoper. Is that along with the A? How do you spell Canada? C-A-N-A. Owner of Beard Wash. Gotcha. Love catching up every week. Just picked up our new 16-foot enclosed trailer. Awesome. Fully branded. In Ohio. I'm just south of you. I'm actually in Kentucky, but by the Cincinnati airport. Oh no. Lost mom to cancer, and dad is battling it now. Been a rough couple months. I'd say that has been. I'll keep you in my prayers, Bearded Soft Wash. Going to do first window cleaning job tomorrow, inside and out. Awesome. So, what is Jason thinking about? Jason is thinking, and if you all have questions, I'd love to hear your questions. I love answering your all's questions too. So if you've got questions on marketing or something, I will definitely go down that rabbit hole too. But here's my thought on marketing. A lot of times we're told, go get a website. A website in our brain thinks that rather we pay $50, $200, $250, $500, $5,000, $10,000, that if we get a website, it's just going to automatically start ranking, and all of this sudden the business is going to start coming in. And that is not really how that works. And here's the reason why that doesn't work. So a lot of times when we look at websites, what when you first look at your website, can I tell you what do you do and where you do it within 2 seconds? Sometimes people love to make these beautiful websites and they look great on the computer, but they're not mobile friendly at all. And so that's the first thing that is a big no-no. And here's the thing. The reason why I'm hitting on this is when I first started my pressure washing business, I fell into this. You know, there's a person in one of the groups that still promotes this person, and they're always like, they do such a great job. And back in 2012 and 2013, I heard the same thing. Man, if you just give her, she does great at this. This person is amazing at this. And here's what I found out real quick. After I paid $5,000 for my website and SEO, a year later, my phone still wasn't ringing. And so that's what really got me going down the road of learning about marketing, because I just spent $5,000 for the year and I got zero. The phone was still dead. And so this is something that I just want you to make sure that you don't fall into this trap too. And I've seen it happen. Like, I know a guy this year that spent $10,000. He got screwed out of $10K, and he didn't even have a website at the end. And this was a 6-month commitment for $10K. And so these are all things of what makes the thing of why I'm so passionate about it. And I can show you people that have been paying the $200 or $150 a month for years. And I can pull you up on a report of Google local report of they still don't show up for Google My Business. And this is important because your Google My Business and your website, they go together, right? A lot of times in the past, before Google has done a bunch of changes, you used to go out and you didn't even need a website to start ranking your Google business profile. But now you really need a website with the Google business profile because they do work together at the end of the day. You know, one thing that's SEO wise, SEO, AEO, whatever you want to call it, is a lot of they ask you answer, right? That's why I push the book of Endless Customers, because that book is all about they ask you answer. So that's one thing. It's all about, where do you do work at? Can I tell you where you do work at within 2 seconds or not, right? And so these are things that are important when we are thinking about websites, when we are thinking about the different things, whether this is pressure washing Christmas lights, you know, is it landscape lighting, is it permanent lights, whatever you might be doing, gutter cleaning, you know. And then the other thing too is how many people are actually searching for it. So let's take, for instance, Christmas lights. We know in Christmas time, a lot of people are searching Christmas lights. So that's typically a good thing to do. We know that in the spring, a lot of people are searching for pressure washing. Now, the question of it is, and nobody really knows the answer to this, how is AI going to change that? Because I can be sitting here and I can have someone sitting right next to me, and we both put in the exact same search words, and the AI is going to give us two totally different results, because they know what this person thinks and they know what I think. And so it's not like the old days that whoever had the most reviews or whoever did whatever. It can be completely up to what you look at and how you see, and how the AI is going to fit into with this. So this is why I am big on, this is one of the reasons why I'm big on different methods than just doing digital. Do we need to do digital? Yes. I'm not saying not to do digital. But here's what I will say. Digital is not cheap, right? If you think you're just going to do something, it's not cheap. And if you just go out and think that I paid this money to a website and this website's going to bring you all this business, it probably not. This is why I see a lot of people, like, they'll get a lot of business using yard signs, and then they quit using yard signs and they want to go do these other things. Keep doing what's working, and then add on to the things that we can keep pushing it forward. You know, if you find something that's working, yes, it might be work, but it's work. I mean, there's nothing out there that you're just going to do amazing and it's going to give you a bunch of work. You know, even with Facebook, right? If you're going to do Facebook, are you posting 5-10 times a day? Because if you're not, you're only posting one time a day or one time a week, it's probably not going to work for you. I'd highly say it's not going to work for you. And you can say, well, it's the algorithm, it's whatever. Well, it's the viewer's algorithm, right? When I post something 5-10 times a day in different hours, well, then they might just be on at that hour. And so that's the difference in how we can use social media to be able to get more jobs. And so again, it's not just one way of getting business. You know, it's building the networking, it's building whatever. You know, I see Nathan put networking strikes again. I asked for a referral to a guy, someone knew him, called that guy. We actually ended up knowing each other. This will lead to $100,000 to $200,000 job. I agree with Nathan. I feel like 2026 networking is huge. Your net worth is your network. Your network is your net worth, right? And so I believe that 100% at the end of the day. You know, I know another guy got a $40,000 job because he has built his relationships with the HOA or the apartment association, and by him doing that through the apartment association and building those relationships, he's closing a $40,000 job. That's the importance of how we network. Now, networking isn't sexy. Networking takes work. Networking makes you get out of your comfort zone. You have to go talk to people, and it's okay. They're not going to bite you, but that's what you have to do with networking. And you have to build the know, like, and trust. Whether we are building the know, like, and trust through networking, whether we're building the trust, know, like, and trust by putting our brand on Google Business Profile, you're putting your face on Google Business Profile, you're putting yourself in uniform on Google Business Profile, you're putting your employees in that, you're putting your truck that's wrapped that looks like that. And by doing that, you're building your know, like, and trust. And when you build your know, like, and trust, people will buy from you. And it's amazing what happens when you do that. And so just like what Nathan put here, $100,000 to $200,000 by having a network of knowing someone that knows someone. You know, one of the things I've learned in the last 2.5-3 years by being on my organization of my volunteer job is that it's not always what you know, it's who you know. And when you know people, it's amazing what can happen at the end of the day. And so these are definitely things that I believe 100% is getting you from there. You aren't joking. It's go time. The weather got nice and it went from 0 to 100 overnight. Awesome, Jeremy. You know. So I'm excited. I've got some really cool stuff coming down the pipeline. I'm excited for this year. It's going to be a great year. I think that with Christmas lights, with pressure washing, you all are going to crush it. If you go out there, you start taking action, you start making that phone ring, right? What are you doing to get your phone to ring? That's the question to you. What are you doing? And so that is definitely something that you need to do. Funny enough, I met the person from helping out a friend moving, right? And you never know. DJ's on the organization that I am on, right? And he got almost $50 to $75,000 off of knowing one person that was on the team with us. And that's the cool thing about being that network. And sometimes you don't always know who that might be that's going to get you that job. The itch is real. All right, so what's your all's questions? I'm going to leave plenty of time for you all to answer questions, ask questions. Let's go. Because if you ain't got questions, do you just know everything? Or you think your question is dumb? And I'll tell you right now, there is no dumb question. I promise you. Unless Daniel asks, then it might be a dumb question. And I'm just teasing. All right, let's see here. Hey, brother, I closed a Christmas light job today. See, it's go time. But Jason, you can't get Christmas light jobs in February. You're right, if that's what you believe. Are you calling people? Are you asking for jobs? Are you asking if they want Christmas lights? Are you building relationships? Or are you just saying, Jason, you can't do that? Because when you say that, you're right. That was the thing of Henry Ford said, if you think you can, or if you think you can't, you're right on both, right? You're right. You're right 100%. So what are you doing to go out there and get jobs? What are you doing out to close jobs? Doing a permanent light add-on tomorrow. Relationships are key, and I would agree 100% with that. 100%. What's up, Artie? How are you doing? Artie Pressure Washing 2582. Again, I love this. You aren't joking. It is go time. The weather got nice, and it went. And we went out to dinner tonight at Skyline, and the one waitress is like, man, it was packed out here. It's like everybody saw that it was warm, and they just come out in droves. So you just never know. Excited for you, man. Let's go. Mr. Brown, since you started here, hundreds of people started in the same industry, making it harder to get customers, or do people quitting? Is it all the same? So here's my thing about this. I know that people will say, Jason, you're just ruining the industry. And here's what I will say with that. As many people try to start businesses, very few are successful. It's the 80-20 rule, right? The 80-20 rule works in everything in business, everything in life, everywhere, right? 20% will be successful and 80% will fail. Why will they fail? It gets hard, right? In the book of Think and Grow Rich, it talks about having a successful mindset or a fear mindset. And so if you don't have that successful mindset, you will not be able to grow. I'm going to use Daniel because Daniel has grown probably one of the biggest in his area, but there's people in his area that will tell me that, Jason, you can't get $10, $12 a foot for Christmas lights. Jason, you can't do this, you can't do that, right? And so Daniel's getting it. What's the difference, right? Because he has a different mindset. He isn't worried about his competition. Because here's the problem. If you worry about what you can change, you're going to grow. If you're worried about what Joe's doing over here or what Bob's doing over here, that means you're focusing on their business, but you're not focusing on your business. And when you're focusing on their business, guess whose businesses are growing? Their businesses are growing. Guess who's not? Yours is not, because you're not focusing on your business. And so rather there's, Jason Hefner, when he first started, he was the one I was talking about getting a six-figure job today. When he first started, he would find every $49, $79, $99 guy out there. Like they would just magically find him, right? Well, guess what? If you go looking for a red car, you're going to see tons of red cars. But if that's not your mindset, you'll never see one red car. It's the same thing with worrying about your competition. If you go out there trying to find all of the guys that are pressure washing, oh my God, you'll find hundreds of them. If you go out there trying to find all the guys that are Christmas lights, you'll have ads coming at you and everything. And it's just like, what the heck, man? I don't want all this stuff, right? And that's why you can't worry about what other people think about your business or what you think about their business. Because, yeah, there's going to be hundreds of people come in. Yes, I've helped 1,000 people make $100,000 doing Christmas lights and pressure washing, but some of them have come and some of them have went because they find different job. If they find out it's not for them, whatever that might be, And so with that, you have to have the mindset that you are going to win. And again, you just got to go out there and not worry about what other people are doing because, again, it's like shooting a gun. I always use this analogy, right? If you just stand here and shoot and you're hoping that's going to hit, you're not going to do anything. Unless you come up, put the eyesights in your target, and you set a target, right? What is your target? Is your target worrying about the hundreds of people starting pressure washing jobs? Or is your target, how do I get to $100,000? How do I get to $500,000? How do I get to seven figures, right? Let's start working that backwards. How many reviews do I need to get? How much do I need to spend in ad spend? How many trucks do I need? What do I need to do? How do I get my average ticket up? What is my lifetime value customer, right? And we start writing these numbers down and we start focusing on that. Guess what happens when we focus on this, right? We start focusing on our business, our numbers. Guess what's going to happen? You're going to go up. Guess what happens when we're looking over here this way? We're not focusing on our business. And that's the key of growing any business. I don't care if it's pressure washing, Christmas lights, garbage, whatever it might be. That's the focus of what you need to be focusing on your business. Do we need to worry about our competition? Not really. They're going to be themselves. They're going to do their thing. So don't worry about it. What's the deal with city and state jobs? So it's a good question. One of the things I would say with the cities is, and I'm going to hit on different, right? Because it is a little bit different. So with pressure washing, most of the time they got to go out and get 3 bids. Especially if it's over a certain amount. And they gotta post it, and it's all that crap. With the Christmas lights, though, a lot of times, yes, it might be government, but it might be ran through the tourism group. I know Georgetown Tourism had their little group, and they was the one that would help decorate and stuff like that, or tell them what to do and how to do it. So you kind of got to go find where that is. And the state jobs, yes, they're going to be posted, but a lot of times they already kind of know who's gotten a bid or who's going after that bid. So you kind of got to build those relationships with those types of people and figure out who is that. Darling, we have hundreds of competitors in our area. Darian, just focus on my own business and not try to think about them. It's working out well. We're exploding, right? And that's the truth. Daniel does see there. And you know what I tell Daniel every time he talks about competitors? Why are you worrying about it? There ain't nothing you can do about changing it. There's always going to be a $6 a foot guy. There's always going to be a $4 a foot guy. I guarantee you there will always be a $4 a foot guy. But you know what happens next year? He's going to be gone and someone's going to take his place because you can't sustain a business at $4 a foot. You can't sustain a business at $6 a foot and grow and do the things you need to do to grow. That's why I preach $8 a foot. That's why I don't preach cheap on pressure washing, right? How do we get our average ticket to $1,000 pressure washing? That will take you 2 to 3 hours to do. That's the purpose of why it is. You know, I was reading today, Maurice, he came to my Christmas light class this year. He got a 6-figure job doing pressure washing. Again, it's amazing what you can do when you go out there. Recent thought, and I'd love to see your perspective. We have not done enough to know our pricing, but the focus should be on how to get more leads than worry about pricing correct. Here's the thing about that. As long as you're not cheap, you know, this is why I say house washing is anywhere from 25 to 35 cents a square foot. Roof cleaning is anywhere from 40 cents to 60 cents a square foot. Concrete cleaning is anywhere from 25 to 35, 40 cents a square foot, right? Now, those are going to be on the higher type prices, but if you get enough leads and you close them, you know, I've got people that are doing 7 figures and they're at a 30% close rate, but their average ticket's over $1,000, right? It's not about getting hundreds of clients and going broke at the same time. I always talk about Rick. Rick was one that before he joined my membership, he came to King of Pressure Wash and joined the membership. He did $150,000 and he thought that was great, right? The next year, he did $300,000 and did less jobs. Less jobs and more money. Think about that. That's the purpose of what I want you to do, right? That's why I teach you to be premium pricing. That's why I want you to be premium pricing, because when you figure it out and you get it to work for you, it's amazing what happens. You work less and make more money. And guess what? If you find the right customers and you're not talking about pressure washing and chemicals and the bullcrap that we love to talk about, or we're not talking about bulbs, we're not talking about being cheap, and we're not talking about all the cheap stuff that comes out of our mouth in our videos and on our posts, guess what? You will find like-minded people. And if you think that way, that's what your customer is going to think. And that's why I want you to get out of the mentality of, you know, sometimes as a poor mentality can get you in trouble, because you would be like, how many times have you ever said, I would never pay that? Okay, good for you. Do you drive a BMW? Do you live in a $500,000, $1 million, $2 million home? Do you have a housemaid? Does your kid go to school at a $50,000 a year tuition? Right? Well, no, I don't. Then how do you know that you would never pay that? Because you are not your customer. And so that's the difference. And this is something with networking, right? When we network and we get around people that where we want to go at. Networking is not around people that we don't want to be with, right? If you look at that person, it's back to, I can tell you by looking at you and your 5 friends where you are, right? Are you up here or are you down here? And how can I do that? Because what your friend group is going to change as you start thinking and growing bigger. And so, you know, I want to be in rooms that there are, you know, people that are worth $100 million, $200 million. You know, them are the rooms that I want to be in, because when I get in those rooms, guess what? There's only one way up for me at that point. And so that's the difference of a different mindset and a different way of thinking versus, you know, you and all your friends are going to the bar and watching the games and stuff. Well, guess what? That's probably where you're going to be at. So I'm not saying that is right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that's kind of the way things work. Should I offer financing? I had a composite deck build quote today, and she asked for financing, and builds aren't cheap. I would say yes. Especially if you're getting into that, Jeremy, I would definitely say yes. And there's a bunch of them out there, and they're not that expensive. Like I know a guy that does roofing, and like they'll cut half, like they'll do half the percentage, they'll add to it basically, and then take that and do it. I know if you've got Jobber, you can do it through Jobber has the financing. I don't know if you have Jobber or not, but if you do have Jobber, they have a financing option. And I mean, you get paid up front and they have to deal with it later on. So I would say yes. And even deck staining. I mean, you get into a deck staining and you're $10 a square foot for cleaning, sealing, and a deck. You're getting up there pretty high. You're getting $4,000 or $5,000 in deck cleaning and staining. And so I would definitely offer it. And that way, if they want to pay it that way, they can. Y'all experts are running the industry. You want to sell lights, y'all just push the training to sell products in the China. The market is saturated because of you all greed, right? Yeah, you keep thinking that way, Dylan. You keep thinking that way. Here's the thing about that. I hope you don't get screwed out of buying from China and buying a bunch of junk and you put $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 into it and don't get screwed out is what I hope you don't do, because here's the thing. Can you buy from China? Sure, you can buy from China. Anybody can buy from China. I don't even buy from China. Why? Because I don't want to take the risk of buying a bunch of junk. And that's just my opinion on it, And here's the thing. You can worry and focus on that, or you can be like Daniel and go worry and focus on how to get to $1.2 million. How do you get more customers? How's he calling people today? He's not calling people in China to be like, I need a bulb for 29 cents. 20 cents. Oh, yay. I got a bulb for 20 cents. Okay, good for you. So you're going to save how much by doing that? Because you're at $6, $7 a foot versus how do I get to $10, $12 a foot? And I don't care, and it don't take brain space to worrying about those bulbs, right? It's the same thing with pressure washing. I'm going to go to China to buy a pressure washer because I can't believe this store right here is charging so much for this pressure washer. I can go to China and get this pressure washer for so cheap. And then when it shows up, you're like, well, this thing isn't what I wanted, or that's not, how do I give this back? Because you ain't got customer service at that point. So again, get out of a poor mindset and get into a thinking mindset of how do I get to $10, $12 a foot? How do I get to, and you're in Seattle, like you're in one of the richest areas in the freaking country. But Jason, there's other people charging cheaper. Really? There's other people charging more too. I've got people in the Seattle area that's charging $15, $14, $15, $16 a foot. Guess what? They do half the work you do and make twice as much money. And guess what? They don't care about the supplies because they're not half to nickel and dime because they're at $6, $7 a foot. So it's a different mindset. Change your mindset, change your life. And it's a big thing that I push. And I know you have influence, and use your influence to push it to help people. Don't go be negative. Why are you always negative? Because what does negativity do anyway? It just brings other people down. So what's the purpose of it? Oh, I'm going to save these. Good for you. When you need lights here and you pissed all your people off here, then you're going to be like, oh, ain't nobody want to buy me lights, right? It's just, you got to be thinking different. How do you think of Daniel and other people that I have, right? Spencer and different people I can come up with that they charge premium pricing. Because Donovan charges premium pricing. Does Fred charge premium pricing? No, he doesn't. He struggles with that because he struggles with a poor mindset, right? Donovan was $10, $12 a foot 5 years ago. 5 years ago, he was $10, $12, $14, $15 a foot. He got $20 a foot 5 years ago. That's the difference in mindset. You got to change your mindset. It's back to the people you're around, right? You got to be around the people that you want to be around. People complain about competition should check out lawn care or junk removal. You own a sales and marketing company, dial it in, right? At the end of the day, we own a customer service business, is what we own. We just so happen to hang Christmas lights, or we just so happen to pressure wash. But at the end of the day, we are a customer service business. If you have amazing customer service, you'll be so busy you won't know what to do with it. How did you differentiate your jobs when workers' comp audit you? How are you supposed to track when you are on a ladder or not? Yeah, it's kind of tough. You kind of gotta, I mean, pressure washing's pretty easy. Yeah, we're never on a ladder, right? We soft wash everything from the ground, which we wasn't on the ladder much. We very seldom, sometimes, most of the time, our trucks didn't even have a ladder on the truck because we didn't get on ladders much. So that's kind of where you're at. Don't worry about competitors. Focus on exceeding your customers' expectation. Focus on giving customer service on steroids. I hadn't even read that one, right? We are a customer service business that just so happens to spray water or just so happens to hang lights. And when you get into that mindset of how do I make it best for the customer, that's the most amazing thing ever, right? That's the most amazing thing ever. How can I do what's best for the customer? Just starting on my own company in Arizona. I'm going to give you some words of advice because Arizona don't have a lot of mold like a lot of the country does. So, not saying you can't do concrete cleaning and some of it, but you may want to look at window cleaning too. So, it's just you don't have a lot of mold like we do in the rest of the country. I don't talk about competitors. They are irrelevant. What do you mean by they already knew who doing it? It's a good old boy system, or just knowing the right person, or they know you. I mean, a lot of times they have to go out and get a bid, and so they know people. It's the good old boy system. I mean, I hate to say it, but they know the bids, they know who is bidding, they kind of get the ins and outs. Appreciate your videos, man. Been into HVAC industry for 14 years now. Wanting to do something different. This might be off topic, but what kind of revenue should a company be at for the owner to take home $700,000 a year? You're going to have to be a lot. You're looking at probably about 2 million to be able for the owner to take home that type of revenue. You might want to. That's going to be a little bit hard in Arizona. I'm just being honest with you. Christmas lights isn't one thing that you could probably get quite a bit in Christmas lights. We turn more jobs down than we take. Opportunity costs, pumpkin plan, premium pricing, maintenance plans, and packages, right? You don't want every customer. Cheap customers are the worst customers. They'll give you the most callbacks, they'll give you the most complaints, and they'll give you they'll give you the most one-star reviews. It's just a fact. I'm definitely interested in the financing option for permanent lights. Yep, I definitely look at that. When starting a Christmas light business, how do you handle family and friends that want lights? You either do it for free or you don't do it at all. I hate to say it that way, but most of your family and friends aren't going to be able to afford you. And when you tell them, they're going to be like, oh, what? What'd you say? It's just honest with you, man. I did my mom's house for free. I did other people's house for free. But the reason why I did them for free is because we needed training houses and we needed people to start training people early so we could get people to start hanging lights on their own quicker. So We use those houses for training lights, is what I did 9 times out of 10. Every year we trained on my house, my mom's house, my brother's house, and we would usually give one or two free houses away was our training houses. Cheap attracts cheap, quality attracts quality. Clients, all mindset. It's all mindset, 100%. I agree 100% on that. Anyone in Arizona? How do you recommend getting a lot of good quality leads? It's a numbers game. You get enough crappy leads, you're going to get enough quality leads. There's no one spot of, if you do this, you're going to get these amazing leads, right? Google local service ads. You're going to get crappy leads. You're going to get people that are calling to wash their mattress or something stupid, right? Yard signs. You're going to get people that want to do it for free or cheap, right? Facebook ads. You just got to sift through the crappy ones to get to the good ones. Now, some things that you can do is, what are you posting on social media? What are you posting on your website? Are you showing, this is the best one that I love seeing, pressure washers. They will go to a trailer and it is nasty, dirty, green like no other, and they'll show it the before and after. Look at this, what we can do, turn green to clean. And don't feel bad, I did the same thing. I didn't know no better. You want to post pictures of the $1 million houses that are already clean. Before you even get there, that's already clean. And when they come outside and you've cleaned the one bug off the house, they're like, oh my God, this house is so much cleaner. It looks great. Man, this house looks great. And you're like, I sprayed the one bug off the house over there and you're this excited over it. They'll give you 5-star reviews, the whole 9 yards. So one way to show you get better leads is show what you do, right? Post those pictures of those nice houses, of you in nice vehicle, wrapped vehicle in front of that $1.5 million house, or the the $800,000 house, depending on your location, right? Some locations are, if you're in the South, depending on what part of the South, in Kentucky right now, a $300,000 to $500,000 house is kind of our niche, right? That $300,000 to $500,000 house might be $2 million somewhere else. So it really depends on where your location is. If Wowzers Maids is at $120 per hour, one maid, pressure washing at $500 an hour, real easy. Yep. How can I disrupt that? I mean, a lot of it is start building. So you could go to like the League of Cities is one place that a lot of those mayors and different things go to, and start trying to build relationships with people is what you're going to have to do. Family and friends are 25% more, right? If you want to support you, they can buy from you. Exactly, right? And this is the big key, right? This is like Dylan, go buy from China. Okay, so when you have problems, who are you calling? Because most people are going to be like, go buy from China, see what they tell you. And so most of the time, your friends and family, they're not always the most supportive when you start your business. Are you sure you should quit your job? I guarantee you Nathan right here has been told of, why are you starting a pressure washing business? Why are you starting a Christmas light business? And then when he does make six figures or $500,000, $1 million, then they're like, oh, that was a great business idea. And they were the ones being like, why are you not going to do the college thing and doing that, right? It ain't no different than Odin, right? Odin went and as at 17, he just graduated high school. He ain't going to college because he did $125,000 in his Christmas light business, you know? And by the time he's 25, he'll be a millionaire. That's the fact, right? Because that's his mindset, and that's what he's learning how to be and how to do it. I do all my family and friends for free and do them at the start of the season very early and use them as training homes. Last week, it was 20 degrees and snow on the ground, and we called 2,000 of our customers asking if they needed any washing. Booked 83 estimates, and now we are booked into mid-March. Thousands more to call, right? That's the difference. That's what you do in this season. You sit there and everybody has this great CRM and nobody uses it what it's used for, right? You use it for invoicing and maybe send out an email. Why aren't you calling all those people? If you give value, you give value and customers perceive they will pay for premium service because they will show you what can be accomplished, not like $49. Paver sealing is popular ad here. A lot of pavers out here. Then I would definitely do that because paver sealings is definitely something that I would 100% do. And it's great money. Great money. That's funny. Dylan's calling David Hamill a liar. I don't know where you're located, but you didn't call 2,000 people in 1 week. That flies. Yeah, he did. I guarantee you did. Because he's got like 2 or 3 businesses all doing over 7 figures. What do you say we use 20% of our CM? Because this is why you only use 20% of your CRM. You'll use it for that. A lot of times we're not texting people, we're not emailing people, we're not doing that. I'm not saying everyone. We're not calling them. We're not using that list of customers that we've already done because it's cheaper to get a recurring customer or an old customer than it is to get a new customer. So yes, it might take time, but that is definitely something that you have to do. We are running into issues trying to start up mass text. Twilio wants proof they made consent to get text. Any way around this? No, there is not any way around this. It's definitely since they made all the new laws, it's definitely more difficult to do this because they've kind of got with the whole spam thing and that it is getting harder and harder to do. Yeah, David didn't, but his team did, right? That's what the whole purpose of having the team. 11 of my employees made that many calls. Yup, exactly. So, see, this is why Dylan struggles because he has a mindset of worrying about what everybody else is doing and telling them that they're full of crap. And when you do, guess what? That's what happens to you. You're going to always be like, these people are always against me. No, you're just against yourself. Right? So, what are you working on this week? That's my question to you. Are you getting ready to get your truck ready to run for pressure washing? Are you calling pressure washing customers? Are you calling Christmas light people? What are you going to do this week that's going to grow your business? Are you going to work on your website? Are you going to work on your social media? What are you going to do? Because if we do nothing, then you can't complain that you get nothing. Because that's what happens. When you do nothing, you get nothing. And so it's important that you go take action this week. right? This week, you need to go take action, because if you're not taking action now, you're not going to take it later when you start getting busier. So, what are you going to do to start working on your business for 2026 so that you can have the greatest year ever in your pressure washing, Christmas lights, lawn care, landscaping, garbage removal, junk removal, whatever it might be? What are you going to do this week? Because here's the thing, we can have big dreams and big hopes, but they do nothing if we're not going to start taking action. You have to take action today to make the phone ring tomorrow and next week after that. So, what are you going to do this week? What are you going to do tomorrow, right? Because we can always push it off, and we got this thing called ADD. Most entrepreneurs do, and so we got squirrel syndrome. So what are you going to write down? I want you to write it down. What are you going to work on this week to get your business to where you want it to be at? Write it down. Don't sit there and be like, yes, I'm going to do that. I want you to write it down. We have lots of new contacts off of Christmas light signs and can't even text them. Sometimes you can't. My new hire is working on equipment and I'm marketing. Nothing happens until sales comes in. David's the man. He's one of the few Christmas light installers I know putting up the numbers and reps. We are in sales. Yep. And you know what was cool? They were both at the same class last year. They both came to my door knocking class last year, and it was awesome to see both of them. 50 yard signs. I'm sending out the last of my landscape maintenance renewals this week and starting to post promoting spring services. We are already starting to see deposits come in. It's been a great month. Well, that's awesome. Dylan, you need to change your mindset, man. Texting our 7,500 database, just got in 500 yard signs to go up, and we are in our home garden show next weekend. Them are always fun. Those are a good time. Good time to network, good time to meet other business owners at the place. And it's just a good time a lot of times. Get to see a lot of people, and as long as it ain't snowing or something stupid. One time we did one and it freaking snowed and there was hardly anybody there. It was kind of boring, but awesome. Again, if you want to know about landscape lighting and permanent lights, we are having a class coming up. I actually put the link in the description of all these videos. christmaslights.io/IPT will take you there. We are also having a class coming up in March for Christmas lights and pressure washing. So if you want to learn how to do pressure washing, or if you want to learn how to do marketing better, it'll be 3 days, but you can either do pressure washing or Christmas lights, or you can do both of them. Pressure washing is on one day, Christmas lights is on another day, and marketing and sales is in the middle. That is probably the most important one that you can do. And so it is important that if you want to learn how to grow your business in 2026, I have them on King of Pressure Wash. You can go there, or you can go on Christmas lights, whatever you want to do. Again, it is amazing. I promise you, you will learn a lot. I would about guarantee if you take a quarter of action, you will 10x what you invest in coming here. And it is going to be an amazing year. I've got some exciting news that I can't say just yet, but it is going to be coming out of what's going to be happening. And so with that, what else we got here? Nice, David. I closed a big job today from a cold call commercial. Wowzer Maid just found money hole, and I'm saturating the area to keep increasing prices as keep growing. Ray, don't worry about them, worry about yourself. And so with that, Go have an amazing day or a night, week, and take action. Again, you can always worry about what someone else will do, but you really need to take action. And with that, see you all later.